This video has been sponsored by Sega. So I think I've been messing up for a long time. Like a really long time. And I'm disappointed in myself. I feel like I have sinned in the name of gaming. I'm just in this unbelievable, very intense state of realization that I've been sleeping on Atlas video games for far too long because, I've never gotten over my, I don't like turn-based games. You know, when I play a turn-based game, even though I've tried to play both of these absolute gems right here, putting a few hours into both of them, I just never clicked with these games. Again, this is mainly due to how I just don't like turn-based RPGs. So I was given the opportunity to try out Metaphor, ReFantazio. How about this? Metaphor recalibrate my entire understanding of Atlas games and realize, wow, I've been missing the out! This game was conceptualized back in 2016, announced under the working title of Project ReFantazio. Now this is exciting for Atlas, or more specifically, Persona and Shin Megami Tensei fans, because it's basically taking the systems that specifically Persona introduces, mainly to do with its calendar systems, and inputs it into a very high fantasy setting. And it's good. Like, it's really good! Now, some transparency. This video is sponsored by Sega. However, I am totally subjected to be able to talk about all of my own honest opinions. Anything that I'm saying is coming from me to you with 186% complete honesty. And as someone that doesn't play turn-based games, that doesn't enjoy turn-based games, this has just completely warped my entire perception of turn-based games. Turn-based is a genre that I just never grew up with, and hence why I think that I'm just not into these games. Over the years, though, I have tried to throw myself, basically take myself hostage and force myself to play more turn-based games. I have played a fair few, but in the almost 27 years I've been on this floating rock, I've only ever finished 2 turn-based RPGs. I feel like it is the ultimate praise coming from someone that does not enjoy this genre to say that this game is incredible! Now, this isn't a fully fledged review on Metaphor. This is basically just my initial impressions. I've put about 35 hours into the game so far. I will be circling back around, though, to scream more about it when I finished it up. Because, yeah, this is thick. This is, like, as thick as a Persona game, which, you know, Persona games have, like, 100-odd hours to them. It's the same deal here. Get ready to lose your life. So I started playing this game off, like, but a few hours in, it clicked. Oh my god, it clicked. The systems, the characters, the story, the leading force in video game UI and UX design. Something shifted in my ape brain. Hold the phone. Wait a minute. Is it happening? Is this the feeling of enjoying turn-based gameplay? Am I actually contemplating having an affair against my 22-year-long marriage with action RPGs? Have I just been ignoring the fact that Atlas is peak video game peakness? What's happening to me? The story. I've only seen a fraction of it so far, but I am invested. I am enthralled. I have never been this gripped in by a turn-based game's narrative before. Like, I have the feeling of just, I want to keep playing. I can't put the controller down. I need to keep experiencing this. We got the fantasy setting, which is a great start. For me personally, I click more with fantasy-type settings and themes, so this helps me enjoy this all the more. To give you a quick little synopsis, the king has recently passed. I've been strictly told not to disclose any important lore information, but by some magic, the king now starts a royal tournament as a means for the people to choose who should be sitting in the throne next. We throw ourselves into the fray of this tournament to win the people's love. We go on this epic fantasy quest across the country, meeting a whole wide, very colorful range of different characters. And this is one of Atlas's strong points. Really well written, really great, enjoyable, colorful characters. They can also be extremely hateable too. Either way though, Atlas do an incredible job of writing characters. So much so that at this stage, I feel like I have a parental responsibility to ensure that this character right here, Maria, is taken care of. No one hurts her. No one talks down to her. I feel like every half an hour that kind of goes by, I need to check in to see if Maria's doing okay. I will protect Maria at all costs. The game has heavy themes of both politics and prejudice, which I know for some people can be a little bit of a turn-off, but don't let this be, because it's just so gripping, and it definitely reflects our current society in more ways than one. The titling of this game, Metaphor, is really clever by Atlas and makes more sense as you sort of progress through the game. Even I don't have a complete understanding of it right now, but I've at least got this sort of perception of, oh, okay, I can kind of get why this game is called Metaphor. But the story is just really good from what I've seen so far. I'm really invested in most of the characters that I come across, especially the immediate party members are just so cool. I care about them all, like I actually genuinely care about their well-being and if they're doing okay. This also plays into the voice acting because, my god, the VAs are just all of them are just so good. Even if it's just a basic ass cutscene, I genuinely am gripped by the performance here of the voice work. Most of the game is voiced, which is great to kind of help keep that attention on what's happening. I also really enjoy the anime cutscenes that come in from time to time. But if I'm being 223% honest here, I really don't think I've been this gripped by a video game narrative as much as I have with Metaphors in 2024. The story has me in a chokehold, and I think that's a large contributor as to why I'm enjoying this game so much, considering that it's a genre of game that I just usually don't enjoy. One of the big systems here is the calendar system. Oh, I finally clicked with Atlas's calendar system. It is glorious. And the calendar system is what truly sets a game like Persona apart from all other turn-based RPGs. Previously, upon playing Persona 4 and Persona 5, I never really played enough of those games, only putting about 10 to 15 hours into both of them to actually click with how incredible the calendar system is, because it's so unique. We've got a proper time set up where days will go by with an actual date, and for each day we've only got a certain amount of time to do activities. An activity will pass the time throughout the day to night, and then at night we can engage in another activity which will progress the day into the next one. So it's all about managing what you do in each day. Do you want to take a bath to increase your endurance stat? Should we do some washing to increase our MP? Should we spend some time with a friend to increase our bond? Maybe start yelling our ideals in the town square? Or should we go plunder a dungeon for some loot and strengthen our characters? The choice is ultimately yours as to how you spend your time and what you want to focus on. This means that every person's experience of playing through Metaphor is going to be a little bit different. The gameplay loop is just incredibly addicting. That, with the very engaging story, just keeps you wanting to play and play and play. Initially with the calendar system, I felt a little bit overwhelmed and stressed out, thinking oh my god, okay, what do I do with my time? What's the most optimal thing to be doing here? Second guessing myself, thinking am I doing this right? Should I be engaging in reading a Winnie the Pooh storybook? Should I really be preparing some filet mignon? Is this really how I want to be spending my time? But then I realized, breathe, Jared, breathe. It's all groovy, baby. Whatever you doing with your time, just know it's all progression. But then I go back to panicking because I'm well, I want to go to this dungeon, but it's going to take me 2 days in the Gauntlet Runner to get to that dungeon. In those 2 days, I could have spent sitting on a park bench taking in the scenery to increase my wisdom. Because level 3 wisdom at some point will be needed so that I can further increase my relationship with my best friend. But then the loot, I gotta think about the loot, right? And the XP that I'm gonna get from the dungeon. It's hard enough organizing my own life, let alone a fictional character's life. For real though, this system is genius and I love it so much. Now the game is turn-based, but there's a few new flavors that have been implemented into Metaphor compared to what we see in Persona. There is a little bit of this real-time action combat infused into it here. Whenever you come across an enemy, you've got a chance to attack them in real time. This will deal a little bit of damage to them, and eventually you can stun them to then engage into the turn-based combat. However, the enemy also has the chance to attack you on the field, which in return will throw you straight into combat without the enemy stunning and allowing them to get the first turn. But what I really loved here is, let's say that you are a little bit over leveled. You're a higher level than the creatures that you're coming across in this dungeon. If that's the case, you can straight up kill the enemies right there on the field without needing to engage in turn-based combat. This is great because you waste so much time in turn-based games where it's like you're highly leveled, you're just trying to get from point A to point B or to like grab the loot in an area. You gotta waste all this time engaging in fights with really low level enemies. This helps speed the pace up of the game tremendously. I love this system so much, especially for someone like myself who has the attention span of a sloth. I'm so used to big flashy combat, moving my character and attacking in real time. This is great. This helps ape-brain me keep engaged and focused. I also love the loop of like going out on a dungeon expedition, getting all of this cool, exciting loot, coming back home to then sell it off to get more money to buy supplies. Also appraising all of the unknown equipment pieces to see if I got a rare new piece of equipment for my characters. Also purifying weapons and armor to increase their stats along with unlocking new special passives for them. It's just so addicting. Let's talk about the archetypes because these bad boys are important. You can equip any archetype onto any of your party members. You can truly build your party exactly how you want to. Each archetype represents a different job or class, and the way that these archetypes are unlocked is via the bond system. So your relationship with the different characters you come across, whether it be non-playable characters or your party members. Another thing that we see in Persona, the whole relationship system is important and affects gameplay. It's the same here in Metaphor. So again, this comes back to the time system. Should we be spending our time to actually strengthen our relationship with a character, meaning that our bond level with that character increases to get some passive bonuses, but to eventually unlock a new archetype? The other cool thing here is the inheritance slot. So once you've unlocked an archetype and their ability as you level them up, that ability from any archetype can be put on to another one. So there's a good level of customization here, mixing and matching different abilities you've unlocked from one class to be put onto another. I also feel really encouraged to try and level up as many archetypes as I possibly can across my party, because aside from unlocking more abilities for your skill inheritance, when you hit the archetype level cap, which is 20, you'll get a permanent stat increase. Taking every system into account that I've experienced so far, progression in this game feels incredibly rewarding, and in return, it makes for this really addicting kind of gameplay loop. I also really enjoy how when you've fully maxed out one archetype, you still continue to gain XP for them, and for every level up you'll get once you've mastered one, you'll actually get a skill XP item. So the XP you're gaining for an already maxed out archetype is not going to waste. That item can then be used on another archetype to quickly level them up. And this is important because you will be switching in and out of different archetypes for your characters, as some have strengths, some have weaknesses, along with varying different stats. The game is actively encouraging you to always experiment and change in and out what classes you're using for your characters. And the whole process of doing this is incredibly streamlined. I also love the retry system. If you feel like you're failing in a battle, which I have a few times, you know, I'm fresh off the block. I'm also playing on the normal difficulty. There are 2 lower difficulties than that and then 2 higher from normal. But I've used this system a little bit because I feel like, all right, this is going nowhere. Let's try again. You simply just hold down the analog stick and you can quickly reset the battle. You don't have to go through a whole death screen or run back to where you were. This is great for people that are actually wanting to use Metaphor as one of their very first turn-based games they feel like they're going to truly commit to. And I just have to quickly mention the UI, the UX of this game, because this is a whole other category in itself that I feel like Atlus has become really renowned for since Persona 5, as it seems like they've got an entire team dedicated to just doing the UI for these games. I don't actually know if that's the case. I don't know enough about Atlus and Persona to actually say that's the case, but it feels like it. Like, these are the best looking video game menus with all the cool quirky little animations for going up and down the menu and going into other sub menus and stuff that I've ever seen in a video game. And it was stated by Atlus that apparently this is really, really annoying to develop, but they develop it anyway because they now know this is a staple point of their games. And it's the exact same case here with Metaphor. God damn, the menus are incredibly gorgeous. Also, with all of the menu animations while you're engaged in the turn-based combat, everything just works like so seamlessly and so smooth, and it's just kind of pretty and engaging to actually move through these menus, selecting what attacks to use and to see other enemies attack. I feel like Atlus put so much time and attention into the way that even something as small as the UI works, how attractive it can be as another means to keep the player engaged. I'm flabbergasted. I'm genuinely flabbergasted. And furthermore, I'm at a point about 35 odd hours into this game thinking, could this actually be my game of the year? In what universe would I find myself saying, oh, is this turn-based game potentially my game of the year? Apparently this one. I never thought I would find myself feeling this way about a turn-based game, but here I am! And what's crazier is, like, I'm only a fraction of the way through the game as well. The fact that this game has managed to impress me to this degree, this soon on, is insanity. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. I don't know. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. After I finish Metaphor up, I'm going back through the Persona games. I'm gonna pick me up Persona 3 Reload because I need to grab me that one. And I'm gonna genuinely give it another chance now that I actually properly understand the systems that started from Persona. I'm even now tempted to try out Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. Here's a message for people that don't like turn-based games. Buy this one. Like, buy this one. Yeah, it's still very much a turn-based game, but everything else that this game offers is just incredible. I know that this is a sponsored video, so like all of this praise might come across as being disingenuous. Hold on, let me talk to you up close about this. I don't know what's happening to me. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why I'm enjoying this game so much. I shouldn't be enjoying this game so much. It makes zero sense. My bird is confused as to why I'm enjoying this so much. He's like, what's going on? I thought you didn't like this kind of thing. I didn't. I swear to God. But this one, it's hitting different. When I took on the sponsorship, I thought to myself, okay, yeah, I'll do it. But I'll, probably end up being like, oh, well, yeah, for lovers of turn-based, it's probably going to be all good. Not really my kind of thing, but good on Atlus. I feel like I'm changing. What's happening to me, Mr. Bird? I'm scared. You don't understand what this means. This unlocks like an entirely new genre of video games for me. I'd be lying with my girlfriend at night, thinking about Metaphor. It's disrupting my relationship.
Oh, I want to spend some quality time with you.
Not today, babe. I'm playing Metaphor. Yeah, I just really like this game. For some reason. I don't know. 2024 is many things, but I didn't think it would be me being a turn-based enjoyer. Atlus, you absolute wizards. So that's my current thoughts on Metaphor. I think it's fantastic. I think it has a pretty strong chance, honestly, of winning Game of the Year. There's quite a lot of talent for 2024. I didn't kind of expect it to be this crazy, but it's crazy. There's a lot of good video game content that has come out this year. As I mentioned earlier, I will be returning to talk about Metaphor when I have finished the game up. However, guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video, and a big thank you to Sega for sponsoring me. Very cool. Be sure to check out my other garbage social media platforms. A big thank you to my wonderful patrons. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll talk real soon.